guys, it's Michelle here with another episode of My Cup of America. And today I am super excited to take you to Southern California and visit with Christine Liu from Tiny Namaste. Did I say that correctly?
Tiny
Pottery.
Namaste Pottery.
Namaste, Tiny Namaste Pottery. I'm getting a good education here that I can't speak much more than simple English. So, Christine, thank you so much for taking some time and chatting with us. Now that we got both of us in the right time zone, you know, you're in California and I'm in Florida, and we have to make sure we're in the same time zone. So I'm glad that we didn't have you at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Thanks for having me, Michelle. I'm super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, your name for your business. Tell us what the background is in that. And I noticed that it's got a lot of sass that goes with it, according to your website.
Oh, yes. So it kind of evolved from my yoga practice. I was very invested in my yoga practice starting around 2011 or 12. And I got my yoga certification to teach around 2014, and my Instagram for yoga is Tiny Namaste. Tiny Namaste is a saying for like often used in yoga, but it kind of means like my light honors your light, and it's just something to close like a practice often. And so from my yoga practice, it evolved to my pottery brand name, because like at the time when I started pottery, I was still very influenced by my yoga practice, and I wanted my pottery brand to have a lot of like yoga influences, mantras, like Om Shanti Shanti on the on like printed on some of the pots, and Namaste on the pots. So it started very yoga heavy.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great influence.
Yeah, and it's still influential to me, my yoga practice and my therapy, or my pottery practice. So that's how that name came about. So it kind of just like was very organic.
So how did you transition from yoga to pottery? How do those two worlds mesh?
It was just very organic for me too. I was in a very difficult time during my life around 2016 when I started pottery. Well, before that, I did it in high school and I hated it. Fast forward 10 years, I revisited pottery again and completely fell in love. Really practiced very intensively. I went to the studio about 4 to 5 times a week. I did the classes. Yes, I did the classes. I volunteered for them. I went to open studio. I just spent all of my free time at the pottery studio, and this is after work. So I do a full-time like 40 hours a week, finish at 5, and then after work around between 6 and 10, I would just spend all of my time at the studio. And I was exhausted, but also really enjoying that time. And so I was going through a very rough patch in my life where I was going through depression. I had a breakup. I had my grandma, who is very close to me, have a massive stroke. I was on the verge of like maybe losing a job. There was like job instability, and pottery for me was very therapeutic, very similar to how yoga is for me. And it just took me out of that negative mind space where I was able to just like be still in the moment, be very present and mindful of my practice for, both yoga and pottery. And it just became a lifestyle. It quickly became part of my life. It was just like something I didn't even think about. I would just go to work and then do pottery. So that's how it was for a full, like very consistently for a full like year and a half. And then I quickly accumulated a lot of pottery items. So hundreds of things that I needed to like, you know, I was giving them away, but also I thought, okay, I should try to sell them. And then I think about a year or maybe a little bit under a year after starting pottery again, I began to sell at pottery markets, or not pottery markets, but craft markets.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah. So it quickly became a business. I just jumped into it because I had so much stuff and I needed to get it out. And it was a byproduct, and I wasn't really expecting to sell at all. Like when I started in 2016, I never thought I would sell my stuff. It
Right.
was just to like make for myself and give away. And
Yeah.
it just became a side business.
I think that a lot of businesses start that way completely and totally by accident. People, I know some people locally here that they make donuts. They make the best donuts. And it started because she was making donuts for her husband. And then he's like, oh my God, they were just so good. So she would try different flavors and different recipes. And, then friends and family started wanting her donuts. And then they have a huge, huge business with it. But I have been told that the pottery is very relaxing. I've never tried it. I've always wanted to, but they say that it's very, very relaxing.
Definitely. I can just like, once I'm throwing on the wheel, I can probably do it for like the entire day and not get exhausted. And the time just flies for me. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
bet. My cousin used to make a lot of pottery. I don't think he does it anymore. Last I spoke to him, that he had, kind of retired it, but he used to do a lot of stuff as well. And like you said, going to the local art shows and things like that. And I still have a couple pieces of his from years and years ago, because you take care of it, it'll last forever.
Yeah.
So no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to show you. I brought some of my pottery next to
Oh,
me if
good.
you wanted to see. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is like a boo pot. So a lot of people really like this.
That's cute.
And it's got like deep, like burgundy red copper colors inside.
Oh,
And
pretty.
it has like gold nipples. So a lot of people love this boob pot of mine. And it's just a classic of my line. It was inspired by like other people who do boob pots, and it's not a new thing at all. But I wanted to make it into my own. I didn't see anybody kind of do this look and or the gold like nipples before. So yeah, so this is like one that I really love.
That's super cool. So do you have like a brick and mortar store, or are you solely online, or how do you get your product out there?
I'm solely online. I'm online on my Shopify. It's tinynamastepottery.com. And I actually started it during the pandemic.
Great.
This was before we knew the pandemic was happening. So it was already on my mind to make a website, an official website. I had an Etsy, but I didn't really like it as much. I wanted my separate website from Etsy. So I did that around maybe February or March 2020, and it's been doing well. And I love the website. And previously I was just selling at markets, like little events around the area, local events and bigger events.
So you're in Southern California. So are you like by San Diego, or whereabouts are you at?
I'm in Orange County, between Los Angeles and San Diego.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So now do you still have your yoga studio too as well, or have you transitioned into 100% pottery?
Well, I never did yoga like
I
to
thought
teach.
you didn't teach it. Okay.
I mean, I have my yoga training, or I might have my yoga certification to teach, but I don't really teach because it's not so much my passion as it is for me only.
Right.
And to get deeper into my practice and teach other people, like just friends and family who want to learn the forms better or get deeper into a pose. But it was never my passion to teach. I tried it and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just solely for me, for my own personal practice.
Oh, that's cool. So
But
what have you found? What have you found some of your struggles to be building a business? I mean, literally you build it from scratch in the last, 10 months, basically. What's been your biggest obstacles, and how did you overcome those?
I'd say just kind of interacting with people and understanding like what my audience is and like what they might like. But I just try to be myself and just produce what I like to make, and hopefully my audience just comes. And that's what's been happening. I just make what I like, and it's been happy for me to do that. I don't really take any requests that I am not in alignment with personally. Something that I don't feel like is my style or something I don't want to make, I will not accept as a commissioned or custom order. So I'm very selective of what I do make for people if they request something. So that's been a struggle saying no to people, and
Yeah.
also I guess understanding like the business side of it too, like price points for my items, and if somebody is interested in a wholesale order, like what to price that at. So it's just been a lot of learning on the go and without much research or experience beforehand for like these situations. But I just learn as I go, and um, just constant learning, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is, two of the struggles that a lot of us have is one, learning how to say no, because at first, it's like, well, we want to make the money. So a lot of times we take on the wrong clients, then it ends up just not being worth it in the end. So have you got to the point where, or do you plan on expanding and maybe doing a brick and mortar, or is that not something that's even in your vision?
I don't know. I haven't like thought that far ahead. I mean, it's a possibility in the future, depending on how much I want to focus on my pottery in the future. But as of now, I enjoy having a home studio. So I do everything at home. I have my wheel and my kiln at home. And I've been enjoying that. But in the future, if I wanted to sell or have like a little studio for the public, it's definitely an option, but I haven't thought too much about that now.
So how long is average, one of your pieces? I mean, I see you on your website, you've got a whole bunch of different things that you make. So on average, I know like you do lamps and stuff. What's the average time that takes to do something like that from, start kiln out the door?
It really depends. I think, well, it's processes that I have to go through. So I have to throw the piece on the wheel. So I make the form, and then I have to wait for it to dry, which could take a day or a few days. And then I have to trim it and then wait for it to get a little bit drier so I can put in the kiln. And the kiln, it takes about maybe, I think it takes 13 hours or so to fire it to bisque, which is like the first firing where it gets hard. And then after that, I glaze it. And then if I do that in the same day, then the next firing, the glaze firing, can take maybe, I don't know, like another 10 hours or so.
Oh my goodness.
And then it would be ready after 2 firings, unless I do a gold luster firing, which is what I do for most of my pieces. I add gold to it, and that's another firing. And that takes the time to add the luster and then fire that could take 3 hours, but then you have to wait for the kiln to cool too, so it's not immediately like where you can take it out. So I'd say a full day and a half for the kiln to fire and cool for most of the firings. And I don't know, I mean, the fastest maybe I can push something out in a week and a half. The longest I've taken is about a month, just depending on like what it is that I'm making, like how much thought I need to put into it. But it's not an overnight process at all, and it's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of like work and hours spent. So a lot of times
there's a lot
I
of
feel like,
steps
yeah.
involved in that. And those kilns, those get super hot, don't they? What do you fire at? What temperature?
Over 1,000, I think over like 1,800 to 2,200 degrees. So I don't know. I'm not like, I haven't memorized all the kiln temperatures, but over 2,000 degrees. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that's going to take a little bit of time to cool down before you can even think about.
Yeah, it takes like a full
working with
day.
it. Wow, that's so cool. So tell me, where can people find you, to find your pieces and see all your artwork? Where can they find you at?
Well, you can first find my pieces to buy through my website, tinynamastepottery.com. You can also find me on my Instagram at Tiny Namaste Pottery. And if you're local, you might see me at some local markets in person around Southern California, whether it's like around Long Beach, Santa Ana, Irvine, around Orange County. I list all my events on my Instagram, so that's the best place to find out like what's upcoming for me and when I'm releasing new products on my website.
Oh, that's perfect. So we'll be sure to definitely include your website, and then and everything that's posted out there of ours. We'll put all your links to your Instagram and everything on there. So that's super cool. So I like to end these interviews and I ask my guests, what is an inspirational quote that you like? Is there one particular quote that is like your favorite?
Sure. And I don't really know who I can credit it to, but my favorite motto and quote to live by is start before you're ready. And I love it because that's what I do in my life. I start before I'm ready, whether that be yoga, therapy, pottery, work stuff, relationships sometimes. I just start before I'm ready and see how it goes and decide afterwards.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times, we overthink things just way too much. And it was kind of like when I started this, My Cup of America, like I told you before, it just, a thought came to me. I'm like, oh, this would be super cool to do it. And I just ran with it, totally unprepared. I didn't have a website built. I wasn't set up to do podcasts, absolutely nothing. And I just started interviewing people, and my assistant, she helped me build out a website, or actually she did the whole thing herself, build out the website. And, we just did it. And if I would have, taken the time, like, oh, okay, I've got to build the website, and then, okay, I got to figure out how to do this and all that, I wouldn't have done it, and this has only been, I think as of today, it's been 3.5 weeks since this idea popped into my head. And here we are. I think you're interview number 5 or 6.
Yeah, totally. That happens all the time. So it's that like remorse and regret of not acting when you could have.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's definitely something. Just do it. Just do it. So, well, anyhow, well, Christine, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And I can't wait to take a deeper look into your website. I think the stuff is so cool. And hopefully we can get out to Southern California here pretty soon. And you never know, I might look you up. So
yeah, awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. We'll chat soon.